Randy Reynolds, it's great to have you on the show.
Good morning, Martin. Good to see you.
You have now been selling on Amazon for over 4 years. Is that correct? Starting part-time?
Yep, started out very part-time, and then moved to the point where about a year and a half ago, I was able to leave my day job and go full-time into doing this. But we started out with my wife selling on eBay, and I stumbled upon Amazon as a way to help her actually to be able to make some more money.
Outstanding. And of course, what's exciting is you were advising a small business center director advisor, helping people get their business run for many years. That's how I met you.
Right.
The great small business center at the community college. And then you basically, like you said, it started building up. And you went, okay, it's time for me to jump into it and get to use some of the things you've been counseling people for so long on. Correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I want to just start with, what does it take to sell on Amazon? Because I've had a chance to teach the intro to eBay, but not Amazon. So let's start with that.
Hey, well, a lot of people, when they first think of Amazon, they think of books and selling books. But Amazon's like one of the largest retailers. I think they eclipsed Walmart this year, of just pretty much everything. You can buy from clothing to watches and jewelry, toys. We're getting ready to go into the Christmas season. There'll be a lot of toys sold. And then, of course, books. A lot of people start out with selling books because they're easy to get. They're relatively inexpensive. You make a mistake in what you purchase, and there's really not that much of an investment. But for someone to start, they just need some product and an Amazon account.
Gotcha. And of course, I know it too, of selling some of my own books through like Create Space, really as self-publishing, micro-publishing, and so forth. So that, you're right, that's kind of their claim to fame and the distribution of it. But you also, you also have my parents' original paper folding book you have available. Of course, I need to do the marketing, so it's out there. But the cool thing is it's available when I talk about it and show it and say, hey, you can go get it on Amazon. So that's an example where you also offer, you're a distributor, right? So you work with selling your own stuff, but other people's stuff too.
Right. I can sell my own products. I can sell your products. If somebody has something that they want to sell online and they don't want to deal with it, I'm able to take their product and put it up there to be able to get it out and sold. One of the things that is really different about Amazon, at least the way that I use it, compared to eBay, is that we don't warehouse stuff here, and I don't ship to individual customers. Now, with Amazon, that's an option, but I use a program called Fulfillment by Amazon. So when I get inventory in, I just ship it all off to Amazon. When a customer buys it, they handle everything. I don't have to deal with the finding the item, packing it, shipping it, the customer service, or anything with that. Amazon takes care of that as part of their fees for that service.
I see. So what point does someone have to be in before they should consider Amazon? What would be the tipping point? If you were back with your consulting hat on in the school and someone walked in the door and goes, I want to sell on Amazon, what would be the beginning things you would ask them or want to know, or what they have to have organized before they start?
Well, it depends on where they're at. If they're coming in and they already have a product that, like maybe they're selling at farmers markets or flea markets, that they can produce in a large quantity, then I would suggest that they either go and start up their own Amazon account and get the listing created and put up on Amazon, or to find someone like myself who's interested in selling their products, and then they don't have to deal with that part of it. If it's someone who has a brick and mortar store, but they want to expand and be able to sell those same products online, then opening an Amazon account and slowly moving some of that inventory in that direction would be a good way to start. They don't have to use fulfillment by Amazon, so they can have it on their store shelf and list it on Amazon and wherever it sells first. That's great. But if you have someone who's just looking to make some extra money, you don't really need a lot. They would just need some product. And it can be simple. It could be books around their house just to test the system and figure out how it works. They might want to go down to the local Kmart and look for some clearance. And, as long as the price is low enough on that and there are applications that determine that, then put that up and see how well it sells. The best thing is if you're able to keep the money in. So if you start with a small amount of cash and you keep rolling into your payouts into larger and larger income, larger and larger inventory, then you'll get to the point where it can be a self-sustaining business.
We've got two main players in this to start out, eBay, which I'm more familiar with, and Amazon. How do you decide? Of course, I guess because I know eBay, and it seems to have a little less rules in taking pictures is what I think of. That's when I checked in last. I often will recommend it. So how do you decide to go to eBay, Amazon for a new business?
I tend to look at going to eBay if we have things that are used, if maybe the packaging isn't perfect, if it's something that is restricted for sale on Amazon, because Amazon does have more selling restrictions as to what you can put up and what you can't.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's, pretty much most of the new things that we sell would go on to Amazon. Amazon tends to have a higher selling price, so we're able to make more money if we're moving it there. But one of the things that was really exciting is that with Amazon's fulfillment program, you can actually use Amazon to fulfill orders that are sold on eBay. So I can list the item on both places, and if I sell it on eBay, I can actually have Amazon ship it to my eBay customer.
Oh, interesting. So they have that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And it also, I know people that, may have a product of their own that they want to sell, and they may put it on their own website, put it on eBay, put it on Rakuten, any Sears.com, any of the marketplaces, and get the inventory out of their warehouse, their store, their home, wherever they have it, and have Amazon handle the fulfillment issues.
Wow, that's fantastic. Is there a minimum you need to spend to start working on Amazon if you're starting out? I know eBay, you kind of set up an account, you can get something out. I know the requirement of taking the pictures right now aren't real stiff, and but I think Amazon holds a little higher standard. What is that beginning entry point?
Well, again, it depends on the items. If you're selling something that's already listed on Amazon, unlike eBay, you just jump on the listing that's already there.
I see.
So whereas there may be, say, a toy fire truck, a Tonka 8-inch fire truck. On eBay, every seller is going to have a Tonka 8-inch fire truck listing.
Mm-hmm.
On Amazon, there should only be one, but then the multiple sellers that are selling it will be on there. So if you're selling something that's already on there, you don't even have to create the listing. But if you have your own products, yes, you do have to make the listing. The photo requirements are a bit more stringent. But once you have it up there, it's not a huge amount of work to do it.
Right. So now you have your own little mini studio in the house. Is that right? For taking pictures to get your own products up?
Yeah, we have our photo cube, and I actually, with getting the white background out, which is something you and I have gone back and forth for a long time, I have a virtual assistant that does a lot of my back office work and stuff that's in the Philippines, and she's really good at taking and making the background all white. So now I just send the picture to her and she deals with it.
I see. Got it. Right. It meets the requirements. So that's one of the things they want, a pure white background. I think it has the exact number. It's like
255.
What is it? 255?
I think it's, yeah. And
several times.
Yeah, that number several times. But really what you do is you have the picture and you use a program that adds that pure white background to everything that isn't the product.
Right. There's software that will do it, and
Yeah.
there's, you can get someone to do it, or you can work with, get the lighting right, which is more complicated in the studio to get it so that exposure compensation and backlight will get it. But sounds like you got a system that works fine, and you just make sure you get a good picture of the item, and she
Right.
makes it white in background, right?
Right. And as long as we don't have the distraction in the background, it's very easy to, so we still use the photo cube to get the lighting and everything right, but then we go ahead and send it to her. But somebody doesn't have to have that elaborate of a setup. That's something we developed over time. It's a little harder to get the picture right without one, but it can be done.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, on eBay or Amazon, they now have these kits that are amazingly low cost for a nice, good sized globe.
Yep.
Get a bunch of lights around it, and you can get, you don't. I'm sure they say the resolution, but you don't have to have a $2,000 camera to take the picture.
No, a lot of people find that their iPhone cameras do pretty well with it.
That's interesting. Excellent. And then now when it comes to I'm just contrasting to eBay, since you kind of started on that and moved over, and this is a great opportunity. You have individual listings on eBay, and then you have stores. And on Amazon, the analogy would be tagging on to something that's already selling. That's the easiest barrier to entry.
Yes.
And then the next is making your own product, an item, right? You're listing it completely, and you need to meet the photo specs and other information on it. Is that correct?
That's correct. There's certain information about the product that needs to be put in.
And on Amazon, do you have a minimum order or a minimum monthly rate generally that will work to get going?
Well, to get going, you can sell one item, you can sell no items. But if you're serious about really getting started, you would start with the professional selling plan, which is $39.99 a month. And once you get to the point where you're selling 40 items a month or more, that actually pays for itself in the reduced fees. But there are other things that you get by having that professional selling plan that just make the process easier. But you don't have to start out there. I think Amazon at one time was at least offering the first month free. So if somebody got in, they wanted to try their hand at that, then they would be able to set up, the first month, see what it takes to get the sales going, and then not even have to pay for it for a month. And they do run that periodically, I believe.
And then marketing of it. That, of course, is your responsibility. Unless it's in such high demand, they're just going to find it looking it up on Amazon, correct?
Correct. And one of the great things about Amazon or any of the marketplaces is that for most products, there are a certain number of people searching for them anyway. It's like putting your product where the people are. But if you have something new to market or something that's obscure, then you probably will want to do some promotion for it. And you can do that off of Amazon, or Amazon now has a sponsored ad program, very similar to Google Ads. So when we have something that seems to be running pretty slowly, we will use the Amazon sponsored ads. At least for now, because not a huge number of people are using them, the prices are much lower than, say, if we were trying to advertise it on Google, and they seem to be pretty effective with a lot of products.
Do you also have a website you work with too, or this is really all Amazon, isn't it? It's a full, it's a full. When people say, "Well, I want to have a store," you could literally get right on Amazon, right?
That's right. We don't have a separate web presence off of Amazon, eBay, or Rakuten. We just don't really want to deal with it, because when you have your own website, and especially for e-commerce, you've got to get people to find it and spend all that time building up the traffic. It's a lot easier just to go to where the traffic is.
What a great point. So you actually named three things. We got eBay, Amazon, and what was the third item you mentioned?
Rakuten used to be the old buy.com. They were bought out by a company from Japan, and they are aggressively trying to expand into the United States. I went out to their expo last year, or was it earlier this year, in Las Vegas, and they have really big plans. I mean, I think it's going to be a while before they are much of a threat to Amazon, but it's another channel to sell things on.
So we have, thinking over this, there's several channels for selling. You've got Craigslist, which is, of course, the challenge with it. It's kind of the Wild West. You don't know who will show up, and then you have to have them show up and buy it, and that's not my favorite. Just because if they're new at it, there's a higher risk of something happening. You know, either getting held up when they provide the product or something like that. Then eBay, which we have the two tiers, the kind of individual sell, and then auctions still there, which I don't think Amazon has auctions, but in many areas that's dropping in area. The stores on eBay, and then Amazon. So do you immediately start with a store, or do you just start selling as a seller?
On Amazon, you just start selling as a seller. Their stores have really never come together well. They do have, like, whenever you send product in, they dump it into your Amazon store. But there's no sortability. It just becomes this long list of products over time, and nobody really ever shops there. The key to Amazon are the actual product detail pages, the listings that people see. And really, you're competing with the other sellers on price on there. It's a little more complicated than just price, because Amazon's algorithm takes in some other things as proximity to the customer. They're looking to give the best customer experience on every item. So it's not always necessarily going to be the lowest priced item that is the one that's presented to the customer that comes.
In the customer experience, what's involved in that to give, I mean, what are the important things to make sure you pay attention to for the customer experience?
Well, as far as the one who's selling, is make sure that you're selling items that are as described. That if you go on a listing that's there, that what you have is the exact same thing. Because on eBay, you're taking a picture a lot of times of the item the person is getting. On Amazon, they're trusting that what they see in the picture that's already on the listing and the information that's there exactly matches what you have, from the condition to the features and everything else about it. If you're going to use Fulfillment by Amazon, they have super fast shipping, so that's not really much of an issue. But if you're going to what they call merchant fulfill, kind of like you sell stuff on eBay, you have to do all the shipping, then you need to get the stuff shipped out quickly, nicely packaged. Whereas on eBay, it's okay to go take whatever old box you have in your house and toss it into. Amazon customers don't expect things to come, with duct tape in a box that's been around the block a couple of times.
I think I got something in a cereal box once, but it was packed fine. But, it's a ham radio, Morse code key, and a cereal box that I got.
Yeah, that doesn't fly on Amazon. So if you're going to fulfill for yourself, you're supposed to be using new materials and new boxes. Probably the only thing you can get away with is reuse packing material, because bubble wrap looks like bubble wrap. So anything to make it get to the customer the way that it's supposed to be quickly, in the condition that you're saying that it is.
It looks like if you've got several things, if you're just trying to sell junk out of your house, eBay's still probably the best place for that, or Craigslist, but, have a big guy standing next to you when someone shows up. And that's it. And then if you're moving to either you've invented or created your own product, and there was someone in Wilson like that. He created a product for his son to rehabilitate his leg using a certain type of backpack and weights. And then he kind of customized it and he was selling it. And now, that's his own product, and selling that on that's where going to Amazon to be able to sell directly might be more cost effective than trying to create your own store, your own website, and then drive everybody to it. Is that correct?
That's correct, especially if it's a product that is something that somebody would be searching for already. So if, for whatever condition or whatever it is that that person created it for, if they know that somebody's looking for an answer to that, then Amazon is a good place. Otherwise, you can still put it on Amazon and not have to worry about any of the fulfillment and do your own promotion and drive the traffic over there.
Now, I would assume with a product like that, if you had someone complain or questions, you need to be on the ball answering those, including responding to complaints, just like reviews online. Is that right?
Yeah, there's actually two ways that customers can interact with that. One is with the product. So they, on the product detail page, can review the product. They can ask questions about the product, and you can look and see where that is, where the problems are. Some products you may not want to go to because you look, everybody's complained about it. So it might not be something that you want to have on there. The ratings that customers give to the products will make them show up better or worse in search. So if you have a great product, lots of people like it, it will get shown in search more often than one that everyone who bought it absolutely hated it and took the time to go online and say something about it. But then sellers also get ratings. And that's basically on the customer service, which if you use the Fulfillment by Amazon or FBA program, you're really not dealing with anyway. Shipping speed, packaging, and pretty much some of the things that you see on eBay.
Yeah, and delivering what you said.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
And the biggest thing there is that if you said that it was a new item, that when the customer got it, it wasn't some torn up, stuffed in a box kind of item, because they can rate you on that.
What are some of the I can't believe they did it that you've seen? Because I'm sure there are a few good stories of I can't believe they tried that or something like that.
Well, one time, because Amazon handles all of our returns too.
Right.
And if an item is returned and then we can't, Amazon looks at it and says, is this new? Yeah. And if it looks like it's still new, they just throw it back into inventory. If it looks like it could have been damaged or opened or something, they'll mark it as such, pull it out of inventory, and we have to get it sent back to us. And it's not expensive. I think it's like 50 cents to have an item sent back. Well, one time I had a vacuum cleaner come back, and I said, man, this box is really, really light. And I opened it up, and it was nothing but the attachments. They had taken the whole canister, the internal part of the vacuum, and sent it back to Amazon and said it was defective.
Wow.
So Amazon did reimburse me for that because they shouldn't have accepted a return. I mean, it was obvious that the box didn't weigh but like a third of what it should have.
Right. So one of the things that someone new, of course, is the shock of getting returns and so forth. What would you say to somebody like that so that they can develop the muscle? In eBay, I tell them when I was teaching eBay, I go, just think of the risk of having a brick and mortar and setting all that up, and then someone still either steals from right out of your store or robs you. So there's some risk of loss in anything you do, and somehow that's kind of tough for people. I say develop the muscle where, okay, it happened, let's move on.
Yeah, I see a lot of that, especially in the Facebook groups. People be saying, oh, well, what should I do with this customer? Because, they're trying to beat me out of this, and it's like $5.
Right.
It's like, refund the customer and move on, because your time is worth more than that. Just like with the brick and mortar store, you look at, not individual things, but more of rates. You're going to get a certain number of returns. There'll be a certain number of returns that aren't sellable. When you look at the inventory as a large portfolio, that tends to be relatively small. And if it's in the same area, then the problem might be with you and your product, not necessarily with the customer. If you get a whole lot of returns of a particular type of blender, chances are there's probably something wrong with that type of blender, and you just need to, sell something else. For us, we get more returns now because we've moved more into shoes and clothing. I personally would have a hard time buying shoes online.
Yeah.
I just rather go down the line and keep trying on until I find something that fits. But just like in a shoe store, people think they know their size. They take it off the shelf. They try it on. It doesn't fit. They put it back on the shelf. If you're selling shoes on Amazon, they'll order it. They'll try it on. If it doesn't fit, they send it back. So in those areas, you get a higher return rate. But it's just part of doing business. It's a cost of doing business. And most of those returns just go right back in and can be sold again.
Well, I see some real value in either teaming up with someone or having a mentor if you're completely new to this. And I've reached out to you that I'd love to teach a course with you. We'll have to get you through Christmas first and discuss it. Yep. But maybe that's an option. And hopefully you'll put something together. I mean, because you were in the role of consulting, so you're really, and you've been a teacher. And so you and I both know the importance of breaking it into baby steps to walk them through. And you've also can put yourself in the shoes of somebody brand new without business or selling skills wanting to get something going.
Yes. I keep telling you that I'm going to put something together. We really are looking for in the new year, once we get past Christmas, because we're just entering our busiest time right now.
Maybe in the I know they're registering now, but maybe in the summer we can offer a course together. Would that be a good time period? We'll get the write up and send it out and see what happens, because it'd be fun to do that. And I think it's exciting to see how you've worked these out, and you're working out. You're always looking for ways to work out more efficiencies. So you take a little time to work on the business. Except when it's Christmas, then you need to just be taking care of customers, right?
That's right. It's right now during this time of year, it's getting inventory, finding it, and getting it into Amazon.
Now you've got, is your daughter help you out too? Is it, it's you and your wife, right?
It's myself, my wife, my youngest daughter works for us part-time during most of the year and full-time to overtime from now till probably mid-January, and then she's able to drop back some. My oldest daughter works for me 2 days a week, and I have several virtual assistants in the Philippines that also work for us.
Excellent. So you really have a true family-run and operated business there. Excellent.
Yes.
Anything you want to close with? We'll put some resources to. There's some resources in the comment area, but this was great to just have a discussion on where do you start, what involves. Any closing comments?
Well, there's a lot of information on Facebook. Some of it's good, some of it isn't, but it is a good place to get started. I run a Facebook group with 4 other very experienced sellers. We all pretty much have different business models. One of them is about finding or creating a product of their own called private labeling and importing from China and selling those on Amazon. It's the Online Seller Academy, and I think that's the link that you're going to put in. But if somebody wanted more information, that's a great place for them to go and get started. And then, if they want to contact me, they can through that group.
Fantastic. Well, Randy, this was great. This is what I wanted. So I'm going to include this in the eBay class that I have, and then look forward to us teaching one on Amazon. We'll team up and then get going on it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And maybe by then I'll have the multi-channel down even better, and we can show how to integrate them really well.
Excellent. Well, thanks for the time, and really good to have you on the show, and we'll put some comments below. And of course, I love when people leave comments and share the shows with people if you find it useful, and let me know what else you're doing. But this completes this show, and Randy, great to have you.
Okay, thanks. Goodbye.